little rundown of how it goes. So sharks have claws now. So the first thing and the most important thing is you're going to perform the form of your choice for us, just like you're competing. We know that you've been killing it in the virtual tournaments. So it'll be just like that. Just go full out. If you want to play music, you can. We encourage your full normal key eyeing that you would use so that we can see what you would really be doing if you were competing. We'll give you all detailed, individualized feedback, and you'll also receive an email after we finish camp for the weekend. You'll also receive an email that has a list of all the things that Reid, Cole, and I saw for you to continue to work on because we know it'd be hard to remember everything that we're telling you right now, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be emailing you that information. And then also, once you've done your form, if we have time for a second form, we might be able to do that as well. Or if you have questions for us about like, hey, this part of my form feels weird, or I don't really like this part, what could I do different? What could I do better in this specific part of the form? You're free to ask those questions as well. So really, we're here to help you go to the next level, and just kind of seeing your form is the first step to facilitate that. Does that make sense?
Yes. What I would like to do would be my WKC creative weapon because that's no release. And if this year I'm going to go hard in WKC, then I want to make sure that I can be the top of my league without the releases. So
sounds good. Looking forward to it.
yeah. Yes! Whoop, whoop, boys! Whoop! I saw! Boom! Boom! Yes! Whoop! Yes! Yes! What? Boom! What? Boom! Oh! Just
Very nice. I put 3 underlines under this point. So, the biggest thing that I noticed, and it's pretty consistent throughout the whole form, is your shoulders are super duper tense. And so, especially from this angle that we're getting with the camera, it's very prevalent because I can see only half of your face, right? So make sure to relax down. Once you get used to that, that's going to help your strike speed up and look a whole lot smoother and cleaner also. So really try to focus on relaxing those shoulders down.
Okay. Thank you.
Another little point I wrote down just while I gotcha was to watch your elbows. Sometimes they got a little bit of chicken wing-itis going on where they're pointed up a little bit.
Yeah.
So try to flatten those out as you're doing those strikes and all that good stuff.
Okay, most certainly.
I couldn't agree more with what Cole said. And one thing that's really interesting, Caleb, is that the shoulders tightening is often what causes a whole bunch of other common bad habits in a bow form, right? Cole hit on a couple of them. Oftentimes, like the chicken winging, as soon as your shoulders tighten up, your body naturally, you have a tendency when your shoulders tighten, your hands come together, right? And as the hands come together, that's going to impact your thirds position. When your thirds position is too close, you're going to underextend strikes. When you underextend strikes, you chicken wing, right? So really the root of most of your problems as far as the technique goes, a little bit of hands too close together, a little bit of underextension, a little bit of chicken winging, all of that goes back to the issue with the shoulders, right? And one tip that I always give to help improve that, if you focus on really flexing the muscles in your lower back, as if somebody was like grabbing your shoulder blades and pulling your shoulder blades down your back, what that's going to do is it's really going to tighten up your posture. And when you have really good posture, the muscles in your lower back tighten up, it helps your shoulders to relax even more, okay? So that's one kind of thing that you can have in the back of your head is having that lower back nice and tight. That's going to pull you up. It's going to bring your chest out some, and it'll help those shoulders relax, which is going to help you with a lot of the other issues that we're seeing with your upper body in your bow form. A couple of other little things before we switch over to Reid here. One specific thing, one general thing. Specific thing, watch your reverse thrust chambers. I think there were maybe 2 points in that form where you were going for a reverse thrust. but your chamber kind of shot off to the front and then the thrust went to the corner. You want to make sure that when you're doing that reverse thrust, you're pulling on a straight line so that if my thrust is to this front corner, it goes to that back corner. The chamber goes to that back corner, right? You don't want to be chambering one way and thrusting the other way because that's not a straight line for your thrust. So you're losing some power there. And then one more thing with regard to the WKC rules. I know that obviously you can't do hand rolls, you can't do releases, anything like that in creative. But I've trained several WKC world champions in creative weapons. And the biggest thing that I have found that has helped those world champions find success is pushing the boundaries on those rules as much as you can. Butterfly spins are still legal. Figure eights are still legal. And you use those at moments in the form. But I would make it even more of an emphasis. Maybe have a section where you dedicate 5-6 seconds to figure eight behind the back, butterfly spin. Like trying to do as many of those legal manipulations back to back as fast as you can, just to show off your hand-eye coordination. That's a skill that can be very, very effective. And not many people are willing to do it because they're so scared about breaking the rules, right? But as long as you're doing manipulations where your hands are in control of the weapon, you're not breaking the rules, and I encourage you to push those boundaries. Don't push them too far, but push them a little bit more. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool beans. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is your stances. Initially, I wrote down that they needed to be longer, and then you actually have some really good stances throughout the form. So I changed it to where you just need to make sure your stances are consistent and not have inconsistent, some short, some long, because you had some that were really good length, and then some you're almost standing up and down, and that's a big drastic change. So you have to make sure that your stances are clear, long, you want that knee over that ankle and that back leg locked out. And if you're doing both of those things, then the stance is probably long enough and it looks good.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Cole already touched on the shoulders, and Jackson piggybacked off of it, so you don't need to hear more about your shoulders. I think you got it. All right. And then some of your strikes are being performed like cuts, or another way to say that would be if your target is here, you're actually striking here and then like pulling it through. So you don't have like a snappy, clear strike. Like it's a blunt force weapon. It has to be used as one. So you can't have it like wishy-washy like you would like with a sword or something where you're pushing and pulling. You gotta make sure that they're hitting the target and you're hitting it quickly and hard and getting into that position. Still talking about strikes, is some of the strikes almost looked like you were unsure of where the target should go, or you were unsure of what strike you were doing. It had you almost had like a questioning look, like it was just, and how you can notice that is the strikes were going fast, and then one would be kind of like slower and like would kind of be off target, or just the pace would get broken, is what I'm trying to say. You want to make sure that your tempo and everything is staying true, and you don't have any moves where it's just like, was I supposed to do this one now? It's kind of what I'm getting at. I know it's a little confusing, but
Okay.
If you film yourself, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Do you guys have any tips to relax my shoulders during my form?
I think.
Yeah, go ahead. I've got the tip about flexing the muscles in your lower back. That helps a lot with the shoulders. But really, for me, it's all about presence of mind, right? Like when you're training, if you just put it in the back of your head, relax your shoulders, relax your shoulders, relax your shoulders, over time, you'll start to kind of force yourself to do it. And actually, what Reid just said is a great way to look at it, too. Film yourself. I can't stress this enough. I know that all three of us will definitely agree on this. The more you film yourself and you go back and you watch yourself do something, especially now that we've told you, like, hey, look out for those shoulders, you'll go back and watch a video of yourself and be like, oh, man, my shoulders are tight, right? And that's one of the big things that helps you keep that in your mind, right? I feel like sometimes we just practice and we don't actually train, right? Practicing is when you just kind of do your forms because you know you're supposed to. Training is when you practice with purpose. You practice and you say, I'm going to relax my shoulders today, right? Or I'm going to make my stances better today, or I'm going to catch this trick every time today, right? So I think that it really just comes down to making sure that you're mindful of it and think about it every time that you're about to do the form, the section, the combo, whatever.
Okay. Thank you.
I was just going to kind of say the same thing that Jackson said second, is a lot of times we think or people when they go into train, they think about what they need to fix, and then they get out on the mat and they're still thinking about it. And as soon as that first move comes out, they're just running their form again like normal, and their muscle memory kicks in, everything. So it really does take a little bit of discipline to say, hey, when I start this first move, I'm going to make sure that my shoulders are down. And if they're not, I'm going to stop right there and start over and make it happen again. So it's just making sure you remember it past the first move, because it's super easy to say, I'm going to do it, and then get started, and you're just running that form full speed. And you might be thinking about it, but you're not making yourself do it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then so something else that might help as well is start doing the form slowly or at a medium pace while you know that your shoulders are relaxed, and then start to add speed and find your break point. What I mean by your break point is, what speed do I go at when everything starts to get short and all messed up? So you'll find kind of your mark based up starting slow and then getting faster, and you'll be able to push that barrier further and further and further just once you find where you start to make a mistake.
Okay.
Throwing a whole lot of
What would you say? Yeah, go ahead, Cole.
No, I was just making a comment. We were throwing a whole lot of info at him.
Yeah, Caleb, I just wanted to ask one question. Right now, what goes through your mind when you're running the form? Are you focused on trying to go as hard as you can, as fast as you can? Are you kind of blank? What kind of runs through your mind when you're running the form?
It's not how fast I go. I try to, because of all the tournaments I've been doing over 100 during this pandemic. So over time, I started to develop, it's not all about speed. Focus on your power and then worry about your speed afterwards when you've got your power down. But sometimes when I'm not focusing on my power enough, my legs are not strong, they're not sticking, they're sometimes wobbling, and then I'm just all over the place. But it's not about speed. For me, it's about power, and then I don't go as fast as I can.
Well, the good thing is that's exactly what I expected you to say, because often when you do a bow form, you want power to come organically, meaning that power comes from your technique and the way you go about the form, not because you're trying to make it powerful. Because when you actively try to make something powerful, when we think be strong, hit hard, automatically we flex, right? Mm-hmm. And that is part of what's causing those shoulders to tighten. Is you're thinking, I got to go hard, I got to hit hard. And that makes the shoulders tight. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So don't try to rely on thinking about how hard you can go or how hard you can hit. Try to focus on the relaxing like we've been talking about, and let the technique of the strike, and when you're relaxed, like Cole was saying, you'll go faster when you're more relaxed. Speed equals power. Right? If I do a fast over the head strike, pop, that over the head strike is going to hit the target harder. So let yourself relax and don't focus so much on power, because I think the focus on power is what's creating that tension. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Very cool, very cool.
Well,
Caleb, any last questions for us, or Reid or Cole? Anything you want to throw in real quick?
No, you're just amazing instructors, and thank you for putting this on for all the kids that have joined us, and thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
you for saying that, my man.
Cool. Yeah, we really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, and thank you for signing up for the Shark Tank and trying to make yourself better. Like I said, we will be emailing you a list of all the stuff that we talked about, and if any questions pop up, just feel free to shoot us an email response and just let us know if anything's still confusing or anything like that, okay?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sweet. Absolutely. Awesome job, man. We'll see you in camp tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye. See you tomorrow.